Hey, my YouTube friends. So back on the 75 Nova. If you recall in the last video, ran out of shielding gas for the MIG welder. So I went and got my bottle filled. And this is the size bottle that I have. And let me show you how much it cost. Here's my receipt. So yeah, almost $46 for this. So this bottle, what is this, 21 CF? They were telling me that the next size up is 40. And I asked how much it would cost to fill that other size bottle. And they said pretty much the same price, about $46, $47. So I'm like asking myself, why do I have this little bottle when I can go twice the size and it costs me the same to fill it every time? Of course, the drawback is I have to buy the bottle. And the bottle is $147. So I'm figuring if I'm paying almost $50 every time I got to fill that bottle 3 times, and now it's paid for itself. So that's what I think I'm going to end up doing. I'm just not ready to do it right now, but I'll still keep the small bottle because they told me I can't exchange it. I'm just going to have to buy the new bottle. That's just the way it is. So I'll keep the small one filled after I get a new one, and then I'll be my backup when I'm in between getting that large one filled. So that way I should hopefully never run out of gas. I shouldn't have to worry about running out of wire because I have an extra spool sitting off to the side. So I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive when I'm in the middle of these projects, because it's just why I have done this for so many years, where I'll just run out of something and it just shuts everything down. So hopefully I'll be getting ahead of that in the future. So this past weekend, I actually went to a swap meet, and I do have that video posted. So if you want to see that, I'm going to have a link up above here. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can check that out. But one of the other things I did, because this swap meet is about an hour, 40-minute drive from me. Well, about 20 minutes from the swap meet site, there is a junkyard. It's called Easy Pull in New Ringgold, Pennsylvania. And I go there quite a bit when I can, but it is quite a drive. But since I was so close, I went ahead and went, and I wound up getting 2 things actually for the Nova project. Before I show you the big one, and I have video of in the junkyard, I'll show you the other thing that I got. So here's what I wound up getting. Ignore the fact that it's sitting on another engine. I picked up this intake, and also the neck came with it. And yes, it is just about an 80s factory GM intake, but so it's not high performance, but you know, it's still lightweight. But here's why I got this. The Nova has a quadrajet on it. I showed that in part 1, and it's running a Holley intake on it, so it's got an adapter plate on it. So when you add the height of the intake with the adapter plate and then that carb, it's eating up a lot of space. So I had this really small paper filament air filter because of the space. And I'm not going to put some sort of crazy hood scoop on the car or anything like that. So actually switching over to this manifold is going to solve a lot of problems. 1, I know it's going to bolt on no problem. 2, it's aluminum, so it's lightweight. So there's no loss there by adding more weight. But it's also set up for quadrajet. So I'm going to be dropping probably a good 2 inches. So that's going to help. So now I can probably put a 3-inch element on top of that 4. So I think that's going to be better. So I'm not going to do it right away, but at least I have a replacement intake that I'm going to end up putting on her car. I will probably clean this up. We'll see how good it cleans up with some degreaser. I don't want to use anything too caustic because aluminum and degreasers usually don't go too well together. I do have a blasting cabinet, so that's always a possibility. But her engine is painted silver, so if it's not cleaning up very well, I'll just paint it. It's not a big deal. I think she'll be happy with it. So on to the next thing I wound up getting at the junkyard. And to show you that, I'm going to go ahead and bring the lift down. With the lift down, I'll show you what I got here. Well, first off, before I show you what I got, let me tell you why. If you recall in part 1, this quarter panel needs some work. It's been pretty much, you know, the way we used to do things back in the day. You just took some metal and, you know, a couple relief cuts and folded it over and filled it with plastic and threw some primer and paint on it, and you're good to go. So this thing, I know it's all rotted. And on the back side of it, it's also got some rot in it. And I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a plate in here. It's pop riveted in. It's all the classic old stuff we used to do back in the 80s. It's a little wrinkled up here. I'm not too worried about that. I think I can straighten that side of it out. Been looking for another quarter panel for a while. I can buy repop skin, and I think it comes about halfway up, runs up to the back of the doorway. And I think they're about $2.50, $2.25, $2.50. Then you got to pay shipping on top. So you can figure at least $400 investment to get a stamping that's probably from overseas and may or may not fit very well. I prefer using the original GM sheet metal whenever I can. And I lucked out and I found a 4-door that actually had a pretty good quarter on it. But now if you know 4-door is different when you get up into this space because it has a back door on it. It actually has kind of like a cut in, and that seam runs all the way back. So you can't use it once you get up to that point. Plus this was off of Pontiac Phoenix, which actually the same Pontiac Phoenix gave up its trunk lid for this car. So that's kind of cool if you recognize the color of paint. So I can only take it from like this point, and it does not have the marker light in it. So that's something I'll have to do if I use that part. I don't know yet. I may end up trimming in here. I don't know what I'm going to do so much of that. But this is in much better shape. There's just a little bit of dots down in there. But the other cool thing is here you can see the back trunk drop off. It's in excellent condition. There is no rot in there. Nope, that's just where the sealer was, and it's just got a little bit of surface rust, so nothing wrong there. So pretty happy with that. And what I'm going to end up doing, I'll cut in the video from the Junkyard so then you can see getting this piece. And then I'm also going to probably do a little bit of work to try and finish up some of those holes in the floor here tonight, see how far I get. Slip into that seam. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to run into. I'll be careful on the back side. I think I'll come in here and then just try to slice down through. We'll see how it goes. How to remove a junkyard quarter. like that.
Might be stuck on the bottom, the bumper.
Yours, the bottom of that is rotted, as well as all this. This is a little dented, but it's not bad. Done. Here's where I'm at this point. So I got the MIG and I finished up filling in those holes that were in that floor support. So it's not pretty, but all of it's going to be completely hidden underneath the floor. So I just blew some old paint on it, just so it is protected from rust. Here's our piece of metal, which I also have the backside of that painted then as well. So I should be able to lay that in there. It looks pretty good. Floor's just a little out of shape here and there, so I'll tack the spots that are nice and flush together, and then I'll tap things around until I get it so it fits nice and flush. Now there's another patch taken care of. If you may recall, there was a hole over on this side, and I was thinking about making a little disc and trying to weld it in. No, I decided just to go ahead and just fill it in with weld. Just kept bumping it until I got it filled in, which isn't so bad. I'll get it cleaned off. This is dented in here, and I think that is from the bench seat because it bolts there and that foot runs pretty long, so I think that's what that is. Now on the driver's side, I had a piece of plate on there. I just knocked it off. I had a piece of plate welded on there, and I thought that was ugly. So I cut through and pulled that out. So I got the same dents over here. The hole is a little bit larger. So I might see if I can get up and under this, try to lift this up a little bit, and then I may end up just cutting this one out like I did these other repairs and fill that in with a plate. So I got this hole all filled in now, just like I did the other ones by cutting in a patch. And I went ahead and just cleaned down all the welds. So got all the holes taken care of in the floor. So I think that's going to end up doing for the night. It's a Monday night. I gotta go watch Morsky. If you never checked out his channel, make sure you do. And if you like Morsky, hey, give this video a thumbs up. If you're not currently a subscriber, I appreciate you go ahead and hit the subscribe. It's free to you. More this channel grows, the more encouraged I am to keep going. Drop a comment as always. I like hearing what you guys have to say. That's awesome. I love the interaction. And as always, thanks for watching.